Hi, guys. So here we are at reflection number one, which is asking us to give our definition of what we believe mathematics is and what it means to us. And I think when you are answering this question about what mathematics is, you have to start with the simple fact that math is essentially the basis and the foundation for everything in life and in this world. Everything in this world exists because of math. There's nothing that I can think of really that was created or formed or exists without math as its foundation. So I think that's the first and most important thing that needs to be said in answering this question. That math is really the foundation for our entire world, and because of that, when it comes to the math classroom, I think that it's very important for students to be able to have real world applications to kind of be able to connect math to their everyday lives, because I think that's a question that I hear and see all the time from students, from young students, is when are we ever going to use this? Why is this important? We're never going to use or see this again after after we're done with school. And that's always an unfortunate question, I think. And I think that being able to apply math to the real world and the real lives of students can be an important step in allowing them to better understand math and why it is important and why it will be important for them even after school. So being able to connect it to their real lives and showing students why how math is important to the real world and how it is always important, continues to be important for them, can kind of help them to get a better understanding of math and a better appreciation of it through those real world applications. The second thing I want to say about what math is, in terms of about what math is I always think about it in terms of patterns and formulas, and that's something we talked about a little bit on our second class last week. The importance of formulas to math, because formulas really exist in anything you're talking about in math, even as something as simple as addition and subtraction and multiplication and division. And if you can have an understanding of the formula for a certain area of math, you can really have a grasp on everything in that area. If you're talking about linear equations or quadratic equations, and the formulas for linear equations being y equals mx plus b, and for quadratic equations ax squared plus bx plus c. If you can really have an understanding of what those equations represent and what they mean, then you can really have an understanding of everything that goes along with linear functions and linear graphs, being able to solve any kind of equations that involve those things. So for me, formulas is an extremely important part of math and what math is all about. Because if you can have an understanding of the basic formula for a certain sector of math, you can really have a grasp on everything that formula applies to, really, no matter what it is. So that's something that I always think about as being important when it comes to math, is the whole concept of patterns and formulas. And the only other thing that I want to talk about is the idea of math being a tool for students when it comes to problem solving and critical thinking. And this is kind of, I'm talking about more beyond even the actual math when it comes to the numbers and the variables that they're working with. I think that those problems that they do in math class can be used as a tool to build problem solving and critical thinking skills. When you think about a student being faced with problems on a test or homework problems or something like that, they're being asked to solve a certain problem, and I'll use a linear equation again as an example. You're given that form y equals mx plus b, and maybe you're given the values and you have to be able to graph it, put it on a graph. So having an understanding of what each variable in that equation represents is what allows you to kind of figure out the problem. But here you are, you've got that equation, and you're faced with a problem of how do I answer this question? How do I come up with an answer to what this question is asking me? And that, for me, invokes the importance of problem-solving skills, which goes far beyond the math classroom and into really life skills. And I think that math is a subject that can really be used to build up those problem-solving skills for students to sit down, be faced with a problem, and have to be able to figure out how they solve this problem to come to the answer that the problem is asking for. I think that kind of problem-solving skill is something that is sometimes lost on young students today. An ability to persevere and figure out a problem that they might be struggling with at first. And I think that math is a subject that can really help to build up those problem-solving skills, which is something that can be used all throughout life, no matter what career you end up doing, or no matter what you end up doing in life. So that was the last thing I wanted to say about math, is that it really, just beyond the numbers and the variables of the problems, is something that really involves problem solving and critical thinking skills for students that they'll use for the rest of their lives. So that's about all I've got here for this reflection on what is math and what does it mean to me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching, and I will see you next week.